Dr. Maya Rodriguez never believed in aliens. Even though she worked at the most advanced space research center in Nevada, she always thought the idea of little green men was just science fiction nonsense. That Tuesday night in October changed everything she thought she knew about the universe. Maya was finishing her late shift at the facility when something incredible happened. She was sitting at her desk, drinking her third cup of coffee and reviewing radio signals from space. These signals were usually just random noise from distant stars. But at exactly 11:47 p.m., something different came through. The computer screen started flashing. Every alarm in the building began ringing. Maya jumped up from her chair, nearly spilling coffee all over her keyboard. The signal coming through their giant radio telescope was unlike anything they had ever recorded. It wasn't random cosmic noise. This was organized, purposeful, and clearly intelligent. This can't be real, Maya whispered to herself, staring at the patterns on her screen. The signal was repeating in mathematical sequences that no natural phenomenon could create. Someone, or something, was trying to communicate with Earth. Within minutes, her supervisor, Dr. Johnson, came running into the room. His face was pale with excitement and fear. "Maya, tell me you're seeing this too," he said. Pointing at the screens, "I see it, but I don't believe it," Maya replied, her hands shaking as she typed commands into her computer. "This signal is coming from just outside our atmosphere. Whatever is sending this is very, very close." The next few hours passed like a dream. Government officials arrived at the facility faster than Maya thought possible. Men in black suits surrounded the building. Military vehicles blocked all the roads. Maya found herself in the middle of the most important discovery in human history. At dawn, the impossible became reality. A craft appeared in the desert outside their facility. It wasn't like the flying saucers from old movies. This ship looked organic, almost like it was grown rather than built. Its surface seemed to shift and change color in the morning sunlight. Maya watched through reinforced windows as the craft settled gently onto the sand. Her heart was beating so fast she thought it might explode. Nothing in her 20 years of studying space had prepared her for this moment. A section of the ship opened like a flower blooming. From inside, a figure emerged that made Maya question everything she thought she knew about life in the universe. The being looked remarkably similar to a human woman, but there were subtle differences that made it clear she was from somewhere else entirely. The visitor was tall and graceful, with skin that seemed to glow softly in the desert sunlight. Her eyes were larger than human eyes, and they held an intelligence that seemed ancient and wise. Despite looking young, maybe 25 years old, she carried herself with the confidence of someone who had lived for centuries. Maya was chosen to be the first person to meet this visitor. The government officials said it was because of her language skills and her calm reaction during the crisis. Truth was, Maya didn't feel calm at all. She felt like she was about to faint. The meeting took place in a secure conference room deep inside the facility. Maya sat across from the visitor, trying to keep her hands from shaking. The being spoke first, and her voice was like music. "Greetings, Dr. Rodriguez. My name is Kira, and I come from a world you call Kepler 44b. I have been monitoring your planet's attempts to communicate with other worlds. Your radio signals have reached us, and we have traveled here to meet you." Maya's jaw dropped. Not only was this being speaking perfect English, but she knew Maya's name and details about Earth's space program. "How do you know our language?" Maya managed to ask. Kira smiled, and her expression was both beautiful and slightly sad. "We have been listening to your radio and television broadcasts. For over 50 years, we have learned much about your species. Through your own words, the conversation that followed was the most extraordinary of Maya's life." Kira explained that her people had been watching Earth for decades, fascinated by human culture and technology. They had never made contact before because they weren't sure how humans would react. "Your species is unique," Kira said, "most intelligent. Life forms we encounter communicate through direct experience sharing, but humans use symbols and sounds to transfer information. This is both limiting and remarkable." Maya asked what she meant by direct experience sharing, But Kira's answer was puzzling. Words cannot explain what words cannot describe, she said. Your language is like trying to describe the color red to someone who has never seen some. Things must be experienced to be understood. As their conversation continued, Maya noticed that Kira seemed frustrated. She would start to explain something about her world or her people, then stop and shake her head. This is insufficient. She would say, you are receiving only shadows of true understanding. Finally, Kira stood up and began pacing around the room. Dr. Rodriguez, your species learns through explanations and descriptions. My people learn through direct consciousness connection. For us to truly understand each other, I must show you how my people share knowledge. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Something in Kira's tone suggested that whatever she was proposing would be unlike anything Maya had ever experienced. What do you mean? Show me, Maya asked. Kira stopped pacing and looked directly into Maya's eyes. My species, the Zephyrians, we do not hide our thoughts or feelings from each other. We share everything through a biological mechanism that your people do not possess. To help you understand our message, I would need to demonstrate our method of communication. Maya's scientific curiosity was at war with her natural caution. This was clearly leading somewhere unprecedented. But the opportunity to understand an alien species was beyond anything she had ever dreamed of. What would this demonstration involve? Maya asked carefully. Kira's expression became very serious. It would require me to show you something about Zephyrian biology. That might seem strange to your species, but I assure you, there is nothing inappropriate about it. It is simply how we communicate on my world. Maya looked around the conference room, aware that government officials were watching through cameras and listening to every word. This decision wasn't just about her scientific curiosity. The future of human-alien relations might depend on her willingness to bridge the gap between two completely different forms of consciousness. Kira, Maya said slowly, if this demonstration could help our species understand each other better, then I'm willing to learn. But I need you to explain exactly what you're proposing. Kira nodded approvingly. Tomorrow, Dr. Rodriguez, I will show you how Zephyrians truly communicate, and you will understand why we have traveled so far to meet your species. But first, you must prepare yourself for a form of knowledge sharing that no human has ever experienced. As Maya left the facility that night, her mind was spinning with possibilities and fears. She had no idea that in less than 24 hours, she would experience something that would change not just her understanding of alien life, but her understanding of consciousness itself. The universe had suddenly become a much larger, more mysterious, and more wonderful place than she had ever imagined. 3 days had passed since Maya first met Kira, and the alien visitor was clearly getting frustrated. They had spent hours in the conference room, with Maya showing her charts, diagrams, and photographs of Earth. Kira would nod politely, but Maya could see the confusion in her large, expressive eyes. This isn't working, Maya said to Dr. Johnson during one of their breaks. She's trying to be patient with us, but I can tell she's not really understanding what we're showing her. Dr. Johnson rubbed his tired eyes. The government officials had been pressuring them to make faster progress. What do you think the problem is? He asked. Maya shook her head. I think we're speaking completely different languages, even though she knows our words perfectly. It's like we're trying to explain music to someone who's never heard sound. When Maya returned to the conference room, Kira was standing by the window, looking out at the Nevada desert. Her posture seemed sad, almost defeated. Maya felt a pang of sympathy for this being who had traveled so far from home. Kira, are you okay? Maya asked gently. Kira turned around, and Maya was surprised to see what looked like tears forming in her eyes. Dr. Rodriguez, I fear I am failing in my mission, your species and mine. We think so differently. What seems simple to me appears impossible to explain to you. Maya sat down at the table and gestured for Kira to join her. Help me understand. What makes communication so different on your world? Kira sat down across from Maya, her hands folded in her lap. On Zephyria, when we want to share an idea or memory, we don't use words. We don't draw pictures or point to objects. We connect directly, mind to mind, experience to experience. You mean like telepathy? Maya asked, her scientific mind immediately interested. Not exactly. Kira replied, telepathy suggests reading thoughts from a distance. What we do is much more intimate. We literally share consciousness for brief moments. When I want to show you what my home world looks like, I wouldn't describe it to you. I would let you see it through my own memories. Feel what I felt when I first saw its purple skies and silver oceans. Maya leaned forward, fascinated despite her confusion. How is that possible? Kira looked down at her hands, then back up at Maya. This is what I have been trying to explain. My people evolved differently than yours. We developed a biological ability that allows us to create temporary connections between our minds. What kind of biological ability? Maya asked. Kira was quiet for a long moment. Maya could see her struggling with how to explain something that had no equivalent in human experience. Finally, Kira stood up and walked to the center of the room. Dr. Rodriguez, what I am about to show you may seem strange to your culture. But please understand, this is not strange to my people. This is as natural to us as speaking is to you. Maya felt her heart start beating faster. What are you going to show me? Kira took a deep breath. I am going to show you how Zephyrians communicate. But first, you must promise me that you will not be frightened or offended. What you are about to see is not what your species might think it is. Maya nodded, though she wasn't sure what she was agreeing to. I promise. I'm here to learn about your people. Kira began to remove the flowing, robe-like garment she wore over her upper body. Maya's face immediately turned red, and she started to look away. Kira, I don't think, please. Kira said softly, holding up one hand. Trust me. Look. Maya forced herself to look, expecting to see anatomy similar to human females. Instead, she saw something that made her gasp in wonder. Where a human would have normal anatomy, Kira had something completely extraordinary. In the center of her chest was a large, crystal-like structure that seemed to be made of living light. It was about the size of Maya's palm, and it pulsed gently, with colors that shifted from blue to purple to silver. The crystal appeared to be partially embedded in Kira's skin, as if it had grown there naturally. What is that? Maya whispered, unable to look away from the beautiful, mesmerizing display. This is our communications center, Kira explained, her voice filled with pride. We call it the mind bridge in your language. Every Zephyrian is born with one. Through this organ, we can share thoughts, memories, emotions, and experiences directly with others of our kind. Maya stared in amazement as the crystal pulsed with different patterns of light. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen, like holding a piece of the aurora borealis in living form. It's incredible, Maya said. But how does it work? Kira smiled, clearly pleased by Maya's reaction. The mind bridge creates a field that can connect with other Zephyrian mind bridges. When two of us want to communicate, we simply touch our bridges together, and we can share any experience we choose. So you can actually show someone exactly what you've seen or felt, Maya asked. Exactly, Kira replied, if I wanted to show you what it felt like to fly through the clouds of my home world. I wouldn't describe the wind or the view. You would literally experience it through my memories, as if you had been there yourself. Maya was amazed, but also confused. That's incredible, but how does that help us communicate? I don't have one of those. Kira's expression became more serious. This is why I came to Earth personally, rather than just sending radio signals. My people discovered that some species without mind bridges can still form temporary connections with us, but it requires direct contact. What do you mean? Maya asked, though she was starting to suspect where this conversation was heading. If you were willing, Kira said carefully, I could create a temporary bridge between your consciousness and mine. You would experience a small fraction of what it means to be Zephyrian. You would understand our history, our culture, and most importantly, why we have come to your world. Maya felt a mixture of excitement and terror. The scientific opportunity was beyond anything she had ever dreamed of. But the risks were completely unknown. Is it safe? I believe so, Kira replied. but I must be honest with you. No human has ever attempted this before. I cannot guarantee there will be no effects on your mind." Maya looked at the pulsing crystal in Kira's chest. The lights seemed to dance in patterns that were almost hypnotic. She could feel a strange pull, as if something deep in her own mind was responding to the alien technology. "What would I experience?" Maya asked. "You would see my world through my eyes. You would understand why my people left our dying planet. You would know why we chose Earth, and what we hope to accomplish here. Most importantly, you would understand that we come in peace, seeking friendship, not conquest." Maya realized this decision could change the course of human history. If she could truly understand the aliens' intentions, it might prevent misunderstandings. That could lead to conflict, but before she could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Red lights flashed on the walls, and Maya could hear people running in the hallways outside. Dr. Johnson burst through the door, his face pale with worry. "Maya, we have a problem. 17 more alien ships have appeared over major cities around the world. Some of them are taking what our military is calling aggressive positions." Kira's crystal immediately began pulsing faster, and the colors shifted to deeper, more urgent hues. Maya could see panic in the aliens' eyes. "My people," Kira whispered. "They think something has happened to me when we don't report back on schedule. Our protocol assumes we have been captured or killed." Maya felt her stomach drop. "What does that mean?" "It means," Kira said, her voice filled with dread, "that those ships are not here for peaceful contact. They are here for rescue or revenge." Maya looked at the crystal pulsing frantically in Kira's chest, then at Dr. Johnson's worried face. "The fate of two worlds might depend on what happened in the next few hours, Kira," Maya said, making the most important decision of her life. "Show me. Create the bridge. Help me understand your people before it's too late." Maya's hands were shaking as she stared at Kira's glowing crystal. The alarms were still blaring outside, and she could hear military helicopters flying overhead. Time was running out, and the fate of both humans and aliens might depend on what happened in the next few minutes. "Tell me exactly what will happen," Maya said, trying to keep her voice steady. "I need to know what I'm agreeing to." Kira's crystal was pulsing faster now, shifting between urgent reds and deep purples. "The mind bridge creates a temporary connection between our consciousness. You will experience my memories as if they were your own. You will see my world, understand my people's history, and know why we came to Earth." Dr. Johnson grabbed Maya's arm. "Maya, think about this carefully. We don't know what this could do to your brain. What if it changes you permanently?" Maya looked at her mentor, then back at Kira. The alien's large eyes were filled with desperation and hope. "Dr. Johnson, 17 ships are hovering over our cities right now. Our military is probably preparing to attack them. If I can understand what Kira's people really want, maybe I can prevent a war." General Morrison chose that moment to burst into the room, followed by 3 soldiers. His face was grim, and Maya could see the weight of command in his eyes. "Dr. Rodriguez, we need answers immediately. The ships over New York and London have started scanning our buildings with some kind of energy beam. Our governments are demanding to know if this is an invasion." Kira stood up quickly, her crystal now flashing in rapid panic patterns. "General Morrison, please listen to me. My people are not invading your world. They are trying to locate me because I have not reported back as scheduled." "Then why haven't you reported back?" the general demanded. "Because I cannot," Kira replied, frustration clear in her voice. "Communication between our species is nearly impossible using your methods. I came here to establish a proper connection, but it requires direct consciousness transfer. Without it, I cannot explain our true intentions to my people." General Morrison looked confused. "What do you mean, consciousness transfer?" Maya stepped forward. "General, Kira's species communicates by sharing experiences directly from mind to mind. They don't use words the way we do. She's been trying to establish this kind of connection with me so she can properly explain why they're here. And you're willing to let an alien mess with your brain?" the general asked incredulously. Maya took a deep breath. "Sir, if there's Even a chance this could prevent a war between our species. Isn't it worth the risk? Before the general could answer, another soldier ran into the room. Sir, urgent message from Washington. The ship over the capital has begun descending. Our fighter jets are scrambling to intercept. Kira made a sound that was almost like a sob. They think I am dead. In our culture, when a representative fails to return, it means they have been killed by a hostile species. The ships are preparing to extract any survivors and defend themselves. Maya felt her heart racing. She could picture fighter jets attacking the alien ships, starting a conflict that could destroy both civilizations. How long do we have before they attack? Our military protocol gives first contact teams 72 hours, Kira replied. After that, if there is no communication, we assume the worst. It has been 71 hours since I landed. 1 hour, Maya whispered. We have 1 hour to prevent a war. General Morrison was speaking rapidly into his radio, trying to coordinate with military forces around the world. Maya could hear him ordering jets to maintain distance but stay ready for combat. Kira, Maya said urgently, if I do this, if I let you create this mind bridge, will you be able to communicate with your ships? Yes, Kira replied immediately. Once you understand our true intentions, you can help me explain to your leaders, and through the temporary connection, I will gain enough understanding of human communication to contact my people properly. Maya looked around the room at all the worried faces. Dr. Johnson was shaking his head, clearly against the idea. General Morrison was arguing with someone on his radio. The soldiers looked tense and ready for battle. What are the risks to me personally? Maya asked Kira quietly. Kira's expression became very serious. I do not know. No human has ever attempted this. You might experience some confusion afterward as your mind processes alien memories. You might see the world differently, but I believe you will remain fundamentally yourself. Maya closed her eyes and thought about her parents, her sister, her friends. If the aliens attacked, or if humans attacked first, millions of people could die. Her personal safety seemed less important than preventing that tragedy. Okay, Maya said, opening her eyes. Let's do it. Dr. Johnson stepped forward. Maya, please reconsider. We could try other methods of communication. There isn't time, Maya replied. And besides, this is why I became a scientist. To explore the unknown and help humanity understand the universe better. General Morrison finished his radio conversation and turned to face them. Dr. Rodriguez, I cannot officially authorize this procedure, but unofficially, if you think this alien contact method could prevent bloodshed, I won't stop you. Kira moved to the center of the room. Dr. Rodriguez, please sit in that chair and try to relax. The connection works better when your mind is calm. Maya sat down, her heart beating so fast she thought everyone could hear it. What do I need to do? Simply place your hands gently on my mind bridge, Kira instructed. The crystal will do. The rest, you may feel dizzy at first, and then you will begin to experience my memories. Kira positioned herself in front of Maya's chair. Her crystal was now glowing with a soft, steady light that seemed to pulse in rhythm with Maya's heartbeat. Maya could feel a strange warmth radiating from it, and something in her mind seemed to be reaching toward it. Are you ready? Kira asked softly. Maya nodded, not trusting her voice. She slowly raised her hands toward the beautiful, glowing crystal. As her palms got closer, she could feel a tingling sensation, like static electricity, but warmer and somehow live. Remember, Kira said, you are about to experience memories that span thousands of years. You will see the birth and death of worlds, the joy and sorrow of an entire civilization. Do not be afraid. I will guide you through it. Maya's hands were now just inches from the crystal. She could feel its energy calling to something deep in her consciousness. Will it hurt? No. Kira replied, it will be the most beautiful and overwhelming experience of your life. Outside, Maya could hear more helicopters arriving. Time was running out for both species. She took one last deep breath and pressed her palms against Kira's glowing mind bridge. The world exploded into light, color, and sensation unlike anything Maya had ever imagined. Her consciousness was suddenly expanded beyond the boundaries of her own mind, and she began to experience what it truly meant to be from another world. The last thing she heard was her own voice screaming, but whether from pain or wonder, she couldn't tell. The moment Maya's hands touched Kira's crystal, her world changed forever. It felt like diving into an ocean of light and memory that wasn't her own. Her consciousness expanded beyond anything she thought possible, and suddenly she was experiencing life through alien eyes. The first thing Maya felt was overwhelming sadness. She was standing on a world with purple skies and silver seas, watching a sun that was slowly dying. But she wasn't Maya anymore. She was Kira, thousands of years younger, witnessing the beginning of her people's greatest tragedy. Through Kira's memories, Maya experienced the gradual cooling of Zephyria's star. She felt the panic of an entire civilization as their world became colder each year. She watched cities being abandoned as the ice spread, and witnessed the desperate search for solutions that never came. But what struck Maya most wasn't the tragedy itself, it was how the Zephyrians faced it. There was no panic, no violence, no blaming of others. Instead, they worked together with a unity that Maya had never seen among humans. Every decision was made collectively through their mind bridges, ensuring that no one's voice was ignored. Maya experienced the moment when Zephyrian scientists discovered that their sun couldn't be saved. She felt the collective grief of billions of beings, sharing their sorrow directly through their crystals. It was like feeling the sadness of every person on Earth all at once, but somehow it was beautiful rather than overwhelming. Then came the search for a new home. Maya lived through decades of exploration as Zephyrian ships traveled to distant worlds. She experienced the disappointment of finding planets that were too hot, too cold, or already occupied by other species. She felt the growing desperation as their home world became less and less habitable. When the Zephyrians finally discovered Earth, Maya experienced their joy and relief as if it were her own. Through Kira's memories, she saw Earth from space for the first time through alien eyes. The blue oceans, white clouds, and green continents looked like paradise to beings from a dying world. But Maya also experienced something unexpected: the Zephyrians' respect for the life they found on Earth. They spent years studying human civilization through radio and television signals. They watched human wars, human creativity, human love, and human struggles. They came to understand that Earth was already home to an intelligent species. Maya felt the great debate that followed among the Zephyrian people. Some wanted to find another world, believing it was wrong to disturb human civilization. Others argued that their people would die if they didn't find a new home soon. The discussions went on for years, with every Zephyrian participating through their mind bridges. The solution they reached amazed Maya. The Zephyrians discovered that they could survive in Earth's oceans without disturbing human land dwellers. Their technology could adapt to underwater life, and the deep ocean trenches could house their entire population, without humans even knowing they were there. But they wanted to do more than just hide. Through their study of human broadcasts, they had grown to admire human creativity and determination. They wanted to offer partnership, their advanced technology in exchange for a place to call home. Maya experienced Kira's selection as the first ambassador. She felt the honor and terror of being chosen to make contact with an alien species. Through Kira's memories, she understood the months of preparation, the careful study of human languages and customs, and the decision to approach the SETI facility first. Then Maya experienced something that changed everything she thought she knew about consciousness itself. She felt what it was like to live in a world where privacy didn't exist, where every thought and feeling could be shared instantly with others. It wasn't frightening or invasive. It was liberating. In Zephyrian society, there were no lies, no misunderstandings, no loneliness. When someone felt sad, their friends experienced that sadness directly and could offer real comfort. When someone discovered something beautiful, they could share that exact experience with everyone they loved. Problems were solved quickly because everyone could understand different perspectives completely. Maya realized that humans had been living in isolation compared to the Zephyrians. Human words were just shadows of real communication. Through the Mind Bridge, she experienced what it truly meant to be understood by another being. But the most powerful part of the experience was feeling Kira's emotions about Earth and humanity. Maya experienced Kira's wonder at human individuality, her amazement at human art and music, and her deep respect for how humans had developed advanced civilization. Despite being unable to share consciousness directly, Kira saw humans as incredibly brave for facing life's challenges alone in their own minds. Zephyrians always had their community support through the mind bridges, but humans had to find strength within themselves. This impressed Kira more than any human technology or achievement. Maya also experienced Kira's fear about the current situation. She felt the aliens' terror that the arriving ships would misunderstand human intentions and attack. She experienced Kira's desperate hope that Maya would be able to help prevent a war between their species. As the connection began to fade, Maya experienced one final memory: Kira's decision to risk everything by attempting the mind bridge with a human. Maya felt the aliens' courage and determination to save both species, even if it meant sacrificing herself. When Maya's consciousness finally returned to her own body, she found herself on the floor of the conference room. Dr. Johnson was kneeling beside her, checking her pulse, while General Morrison stood nearby with a worried expression. "Maya, can you hear me?" Dr. Johnson asked urgently. Maya tried to sit up, but the world spun around her. Her head felt like it was filled with memories that weren't her own, but somehow belonged to her now. She could still feel echoes of Kira's emotions and see flashes of the purple skies of Zephyria. "I'm okay," Maya whispered. Though she wasn't sure if that was true, she felt fundamentally changed by the experience, like she was seeing the world through completely different eyes. Kira was sitting on the floor nearby, her crystal now glowing with a soft, peaceful light. "Dr. Rodriguez, are you well?" The connection was stronger than I expected. Maya looked at Kira and felt a rush of emotions that weren't entirely her own. She understood now why the alien had seemed so lonely during their conversations. Kira had been cut off from the collective consciousness of her people, forced to communicate through the limited medium of human language. "I understand now," Maya said, struggling to her feet. "I know why you came here, and I know what your people need." General Morrison stepped forward. "Dr. Rodriguez, we don't have much time. Can you help us communicate with the ships?" Maya nodded, though the movement made her dizzy. "Yes, but first you need to understand what I experienced. Kira's people aren't invaders. They're refugees from a dying world, and they want to be our partners, not our conquerors." As Maya began to explain what she had learned through the mind bridge, she realized that she was about to change the course of human history. The experience had given her knowledge that could prevent a war and establish the first alliance between humans and an alien species. But she also knew that she would never be the same person she was before touching Kira's crystal. She now carried the memories and emotions of an alien being, and she could feel those experiences changing how she thought about everything, from human relationships to the meaning of consciousness itself. The most important conversation in human history was about to begin. Maya stood up slowly, still feeling dizzy from the mind bridge experience. The alien memories were swirling in her head like a movie she couldn't turn off. But she knew time was running out. Through the window, she could see more military helicopters arriving, and the radio chatter from General Morrison's equipment was getting more urgent by the minute. "General," Maya said, her voice stronger now, "call off the fighter jets. The ships aren't here to attack us. They're here to rescue Kira, because they think we've hurt her." General Morrison looked skeptical. "How can you be sure? What exactly did you experience in there?" Maya took a deep breath, trying to organize the flood of alien memories into something humans could understand. "I lived through thousands of years of Zephyrian history in just a few minutes. Their sun is dying, General. Their entire world is freezing to death. They've been searching the galaxy for a new home, and they chose Earth not to conquer it, but to ask for our help." Dr. Johnson was monitoring Maya's vital signs with a portable scanner. "Her brain activity is still showing unusual patterns," he reported, "but she seems physically stable." "I'm fine," Maya insisted, Though she wasn't entirely sure that was true, she could still feel Kira's emotions mixing with her own. And occasionally she would see flashes of purple skies that belonged to another world. The important thing is that I understand what they want now. Kira had been sitting quietly, her crystal pulsing with gentle blue light. Now she stood up and approached Maya. Dr. Rodriguez. Was the experience overwhelming? I was worried that human consciousness might not be able to process our memory format. Maya looked at Kira and felt a strange connection that hadn't been there before. It was like having a friend she'd known for years, even though they'd only met a few days ago. It was incredible. Kira, I understand your people now in a way that words never could have taught me. What exactly do they want from us? General Morrison asked impatiently. Maya turned to face the general, and when she spoke, her voice carried a new authority that surprised everyone in the room. They want to live in our oceans, General, the deep parts where humans never go. Their technology can adapt to underwater life, and they would never interfere with human civilization on land. That's it, the general asked. They just want to live in our oceans? Not just live, Maya continued. They want to be partners. The Zephyrians have technology that's thousands of years ahead of ours. They're offering to share it with humanity in exchange for sanctuary. Dr. Johnson looked amazed. What kind of technology? Maya closed her eyes, accessing Kira's memories. Medical technology that could end most human diseases. Energy systems that don't pollute the environment. Transportation that could take us to other stars. And most importantly, they want to teach us about consciousness itself. General Morrison was speaking rapidly into his radio again, relaying Maya's information to military commanders around the world. Maya could hear him explaining that the alien ships were not an attack formation, but in a defensive rescue pattern. Kira, Maya said, how do we contact your ships and explain what's happening? Kira's crystal began pulsing faster. Now that we have established a mind bridge connection, I can use your understanding of human communication to contact my people properly. But I will need your help to translate between our species. What do you need me to do? Maya asked. Place your hands on my mind bridge again, Kira replied. But this time, instead of receiving my memories, we will work together to send a message to my ships. Maya felt nervous about touching the crystal again. The first experience had been overwhelming, and she wasn't sure her mind could handle another alien download. But looking at Kira's hopeful expression, she knew she had to try. Okay, Maya said. But let's do this quickly before our military decides to attack your ships. Maya placed her hands on Kira's crystal once more. This time, instead of being flooded with alien memories, she felt her own thoughts being organized and translated into a format that Zephyrians could understand. It was like having her mind temporarily upgraded with alien communication software. Through the crystal, Maya could sense the presence of the 17 ships hovering over Earth's cities. She felt their confusion and fear, their readiness to defend themselves, and their growing certainty that their ambassador had been killed or captured. Working together with Kira, Maya helped transmit a message that no human language could have conveyed. She shared her experience of the mind bridge, her understanding of Zephyrian intentions, and most importantly, the hope for peaceful cooperation between their species. The response from the ships was immediate and emotional. Maya felt the relief and joy of the Zephyrian crews as they realized their ambassador was safe. She experienced their amazement that a human had successfully connected with their communication system and their growing excitement about the possibility of true partnership with Earth. When Maya broke the connection, she found that General Morrison had been receiving reports from military bases around the world. Dr. Rodriguez, it's working, he said with amazement in his voice. The ships are moving away from our cities and taking peaceful positions over international waters. Maya smiled, feeling exhausted but proud. They understand now that we're not enemies. Over the following hours, Maya served as translator between the human military and the Zephyrian fleet. Through her connection with Kira, she helped establish basic communication protocols that both species could understand. The aliens agreed to wait in international waters while human governments prepared for formal first contact negotiations. They shared basic information about their technology and their needs, demonstrating their peaceful intentions by offering to help with several urgent human problems. Within days, the first Zephyrian medical technology was being tested in human hospitals. The aliens had treatments for cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and dozens of other conditions that had plagued humanity for centuries. In return, humans began preparing underwater habitats where Zephyrian refugees could make their new homes. But the most important change was happening to Maya herself. The Mind Bridge experience had fundamentally altered how she thought about consciousness and communication. She found herself more empathetic to other people's feelings, more aware of the subtle emotions that humans usually kept hidden. She also discovered that her connection with Kira had become permanent. They could sense each other's emotions and occasionally share thoughts without touching the crystal. Maya was becoming something new, the first human-alien hybrid consciousness. "Are you worried about the changes happening to you?" Dr. Johnson asked her one evening as they watched Zephyrian ships landing in the Pacific Ocean. Maya considered the question carefully. She could feel Kira's presence in the back of her mind, and she knew that part of her would always be connected to the alien consciousness. "I should be worried," she admitted, "but I'm not. I feel like I'm becoming more than I was before, not less." 6 months later, the first underwater Zephyrian city was completed off the coast of Hawaii. Maya served as the permanent human ambassador to the alien colony, spending half her time underwater in specially designed habitats and half her time on land, helping other humans understand their new neighbors. The technology exchange had revolutionized human civilization almost overnight. Clean energy had ended pollution problems, advanced medicine had eliminated most diseases, and new transportation systems were preparing humanity for eventual travel to other worlds. But Maya knew that the most important change wasn't technological. Humans were learning about consciousness itself from the Zephyrians. The aliens were teaching selected humans how to develop limited mind bridge abilities, opening up new possibilities for communication and understanding. As Maya floated in the underwater city, watching human children play with young Zephyrians in specially designed pools, she realized that she had witnessed the birth of something unprecedented. Two completely different species had not only learned to communicate, but had begun to merge their consciousness in ways that made both stronger. The universe had suddenly become a much smaller, friendlier place, and Maya, carrying both human and alien memories in her mind, had become living proof that different forms of consciousness could not only coexist, but could help each other grow in ways neither species could have achieved alone. The girl from Nevada who had never believed in aliens had become the bridge between two worlds, and in doing so, had helped create a future where loneliness was no longer an inevitable part of conscious existence.